This is Friday Connect. We do this training every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a great space for real estate agents to learn everything real estate marketing. Bring in special guests every week. And I'm excited about our guest today because she's my co-host with this event and my business partner. And she is amazing. She's been in marketing for over 10 years, especially doing big marketing for things like the city of Toronto, managing over a couple hundred social media accounts. And so when she talks social media lead generation, she definitely knows what she's talking about. With social media lead generation, she also is the co-founder of kvCORE Social, which is social media content done for you. She helped with all of that strategy. And so I'm so excited to introduce her. You'll learn a lot today. Definitely pay attention, take notes, because everything she's going to show you is how to put your social media on autopilot, how to focus more on those income producing activities and not waste so much time on social media like we all do and get stuck on what to post. So this is going to be a great content. I'm also going to put our Facebook group here in the chat. So this is a private group for everybody that comes to Friday Connect. So definitely go, and if you're not already a member of that, and we post almost daily stuff in there with content. We post our videos as we're recording this one right now. And so definitely go check that out, and I'll put our YouTube channel as well. And so why don't you go ahead and take it away, Thermila?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we'll do a Q&A section. So if there's things that I'm going through and you want me to clarify, show it to you, make sure to keep those questions, leave it in the chat, and I'll definitely I'll reply them to you at the end of the session. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. Jacob, can you give me ability to share my screen? Thanks so much. And I'll do a quick little examples of some ways to, make your social media automated in some aspects so that you're really saving time, but cost, and really thinking about it long term. But if you've ever been in any of my training, I like to really focus on strategy first so that you can apply it to any of your business. It doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent, if you are a team leader of a big brokerage or a team of agents. This is applicable for no matter any type of agent that you are. And it's really trying to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing so that you can actually automate that system. And today it's really about, I really want to drive home the idea, the concept of, again, creating high quality content, ensuring that we save you time and money in the process. I want to ensure that I give you information so it's going to help you build your brand. So that by the end of this, I want you to have notes. It's going to help you build your personal brand, grow your following. But most importantly, followers are great. Remember, a lot of people miss out that your social media following is also it's also your form of nurturing. It's all a form of follow-up. So remember, every time you're posting, every time you're doing something to communicate, whether it's a reel, whether it's a post, a video, you're actually communicating and following up with the people that are following you so you can convert them into leads, which is important, and get them into your database so that you could do further follow-up to convert them into clients and close that deal. And I want to give you some strategies about taking that guesswork out of what to post every day. So if you pre-plan this out and know exactly what you're going to post, that I don't know about you, we have a lot of our agents. The reason why we came up with this system called kvCORE Social too, and the reason why we put a lot of these content together the way we have is because of our own teammates and agents coming to us telling us that they would scroll for hours looking at other agents. And that's why a lot of real estate agents follow other real estate agents, right? Even though we should be wanting a lot of buyers and potential buyers and sellers in our local market to follow us. Those are our ideal primary target audience, not other realtors. Unless for me and Jacob, we work with other realtors, we recruit agents, we service other agents. So it's our market target audience is a little bit different than for you guys and for some of the work that my husband and I do. We're investors. So my primary audience for some of the content that I put out on YouTube, and if you're following me on social media, it's primarily for investors because we partner with other JV partners, and you want to make sure your content is clear to your audience. And that's what we're going to do here, is ensuring that you can automate a lot of your process and take that guesswork out of what to post. And this is a really interesting, stats that's coming out, that 61% of marketers rank lead generation as their #1 challenge. This is huge because you're trying to figure out, you're doing all these work, but how do you get those leads into your backend? And that's the most important. And how do you automate that process to ensure that you can grow your brand? So just to give you a little bit of context, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Sarmila Rajasingham, and Jacob did a really nice introduction. So I'll try to keep this brief. I'm also a real estate agent. I'm also a team leader. I have about 40 agents in my group right now in North America. I also have agents in South Africa, and I partner with other agents to help them grow their business. I am a digital marketing instructor for a college. I'm also a kvCORE instructor. I'm a kvCORE ambassador. So what that means is that I actually meet with the founders, the creators of Inside Real Estate on a monthly basis to find out what their new and upcoming features are. I learn about the system, and they recently acquired Boomtown, another real estate CRM. So I learn about these tactics and I teach you. And if you're looking for those kind of materials, make sure you head to my website and learn about them, and join us in our Facebook group here that Jacob shared with you, because we run a ton of trainings on systems, process, CRMs. And I actually have a training coming up in EXP in our brokerage university, which all of you are welcome. It's free, on follow-up strategies on Sunday night. So if you want a link to that or a free guest pass to EXP World, let us know and I'll definitely get them to you. And really, essentially, a lot of my work comes from working, like Jacob said, working in not-for-profit government, running lots of social media accounts, planning for them, planning content, thinking about the brand, and thinking about different lines of business. What I mean by that, as real estate agent, the content that you're going to be posting for buyers is very different than the content you're going to be posting for sellers versus investors. And first-time home buyers are different than just any buyers. And so really think about that too, of the type of content that you put out. And let's kind of break it down first before we dive directly into just social media in general. What you're really, social media is just a medium. It's a type of marketing tactic. Just like you would creating video content, just like you would put a billboard ad or a magazine ad, social media is just another element, another marketing tactic. So in order to do that, it's really kind of stepping backward and taking some few steps back. You're really trying to build your personal brand, that awareness, right? And you're trying to position your brand, you as an authority in your local market, so that people are able to think of you first and choose you as the realtor. So your content that you're posting, it's about changing and building that impression, that perception of an individual, which is you. And we can highlight your expertise, your competencies, your awards you won, your achievements, things that make you an expert at what you do. And that's some of the stuff that would come and bleed into your content. You can leverage that. Again, positioning you in a community, in our industry, in our marketplace, as that authority figure, that person who's credible, that person that's licensed to be able to help you trade in real estate. And to elevate that credibility, we do it through accurate content, through credible content. And I'll dive into creating high quality content in a second. And this is and when you take all these really, terminologies and, I'm really diving into the traditional side of marketing, because that's what I do. I teach people the theory first, and it's really to differentiate you from the competition. So that's really what I want to drive home prior to diving deep into the social media side of things. And everything you do in terms of your business for lead generation, whether you're putting out a landing page, a squeeze page, whether you're building out a call, text, campaign, whatever it may be, it's all stepping back and they're all aligned to your business plan. Every person in here should have a business plan, even a one-pager. And if you need a template for that, just send Jacob and I a DM. We'll send you a template. Make sure you have a marketing plan. Again, even a one-pager. So, because if you don't have a path to where you're going, you're never going to get there. You're never going to be able to evaluate. What you don't measure, you can't manage. So make sure your work that you do, even for social media, is goal-oriented. You have no idea the amount of posts I see. So many content noises every single second people are posting that doesn't have a call to action. I don't even know who they're trying to target. Today they talk about buyers, tomorrow they're talking about investors, they're talking about buildings, multi-purpose, Airbnb, they're all over the place. What do you specialize in? And that's missing. So it has to be related to a goal. And so for you want to think about, what is your goal? Is it to increase your brand awareness, the content that you're posting? Is it about lead generation? Is it about just building a database? Is it about community engagement? And then over time, you'll build your business that way, right? They're all connected to that increasing that income at the end of the day. And or maybe it's team building. Maybe you are a brokerage owner, or you're a team member, you're a team leader, and you're looking to attract other people to your team. So hence you talk a lot about real estate and ranking, so they see you and then they come and join your group. Is it about just increasing web traffic? Is it about just bringing people to your website, driving traffic to YouTube? Maybe there's an event that you're looking to run around, pre-approval 101 with a partnership with the mortgage agent, and you want to drive traffic to that. So there could be multiple goals and objective that you might have for why you're posting on social media and why you're doing social media marketing. So you want to be cognizant of why I'm doing this. And I'll dive a little deeper into this as I go throughout this presentation and really share with you what's so important about the type of the content that you're learning here. And let's talk about putting together and a content strategy, developing a high quality content. Like I mentioned it to you, it's really about building your personal brand, right? It's about that brand awareness, your brand personality. Think about it this way: your offline behavior and your online presence has to match. Have you ever met? I trust me, I can tell you this. I have people on my Facebook, acquaintances, friends, people I've worked with. They're completely different people online than they are in person. And that's a disconnect. So because somebody's going to get attracted to you through your content, they're going to meet with you and you're a completely different person. So make sure, or you're sending out drip campaigns or text messages through your CRM, which is the machine, and your social media, it's also, you're sending it through a machine, but it's not being received. They don't know if you wrote it or a VA in another country wrote it. Really be mindful of how you're writing your content, the voice, the tonality, and the warmthness, the emotion, however you write, think about those things in mind. And that's why I love video so much, and putting a lot of those video content in your social media, is because you become vulnerable and people can actually feel your emotions. They can connect with you. And I know this is hard as a real estate agent, and especially if you're a new agent, because you're looking at yourself like, okay, I'm good at a lot of things, but there's a lot of agents in your market. How do I differentiate myself from another person? What is so unique about me? Think about what drives you, what makes you different than the other agent. What is it that you love and like, and why did you get into real estate? Think about all that things. And I'll give you a couple of examples, and I hope this will allow you to come up with your unique value proposition, because that's going to be directly in alignment with your content. So I'll give you an example. My husband and I, before getting our license, we actually got into real estate as investors. I actually got my license to be a joint venture. I told you guys earlier, I partner with other investors to buy properties as a joint venture partner, and I got my license to be a project manager. So not property management, project managing, portfolio management, and that's why we got our license. And then we joined our brokerage, then my marketing and everything just aligned and everything just worked. But however, that's why a lot of my content, you don't see me posting a lot about buyer, first time home buyer 101, pre-approval 101. Everything that we post is either for agents, or mainly in terms of real estate, it's for investors. And I have another agent of mine who's in Cape Coral, Florida. He's a retired firefighter. He's now a full-time real estate agent, or somewhat part-time because he's retired. And all he talks about is Cape Coral, Florida. But it's beautiful because he shares it in the lens of, because he was a full-time firefighter since the first time, ever since he left school, ever since he was young, all these years. So his eyes, you're seeing it through a firefighter who used to drive around. He knows that city in the back of his head. So it's so important for when he shares content on TikTok, and he actually has one of the top social media, a TikTok for realtors. I can put a link in here so you can check his content out. Amazing. If you guys want TikTok content, check his account out. He has over, I believe now, 38 or 40,000 followers on TikTok. He primarily gets all his lead gen, multi-land deals, tons of $1 million properties directly through TikTok. Check that out. And he's great. He found his unique value proposition as somebody all these years. His identity is working as a retired firefighter. So and being a firefighter and knowing Cape Coral like the back of his hand. So it's so important that you kind of dip deep into who you are and bring that personality to it. Maybe you're a mom and you want to, and you, like me, that's another thing that we share. If you go on my content, you know that I live in downtown Toronto. I live by the water. I have 2 young children. My husband and I are business partners, and you see that. So this relatable, it becomes relatable, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And the other thing is taglines, using the same verbiage again and again, because again, relatability, but also for keyword searches too. And making sure this is a really good way to automate some of your content is you can use ChatGPT for this. And there's lots of great videos on ChatGPT. If you haven't heard of it, it's an AI platform tool that can help you write content for you on autopilot. Jacob is a genius with that. He uses that platform daily, more like every second of it. That's how he talks about. But Jacob, why don't you put one of your videos in here that you talk about ChatGPT? Because I would love for everyone to know this. This way you don't have to ever hire a copywriter ever again. And I recommend you write maybe 5 to 7 bullet points, key messages that you can repetitively keep coming in a lot of your social media content, keywords that make you unique about your area. If you're an Atlanta realtor, it'll be Atlanta real estate agent, Atlanta realtor, Atlanta market report, words that would keep coming up in your copy and content so that people can relate to. So if you're like one of my agents from Locust Grove, so Locust Grove, Georgia, Locust Grove, Atlanta, and again, verbiages that people would be searching for, buying a home, model homes, pre-construction homes in Atlanta, that kind of stuff. And then once you have these key messages, now, again, one step closer to automating that process. And when you're writing content to make this high quality content, write these 3 things down and apply this to honestly any aspects of content, to be honest. Value, relevancy, and consistency. So what value do you bring to the people that are consuming your content? Maybe there are tips you're giving away, maybe an insider look, maybe a tour. What is it that you're sharing that the person that's consuming your content is going to find relevant? Maybe it's inspiring, maybe it's educational. We'll dive a little deeper into this in a second, but making sure it's relevant to the people that are following you. And this is, like I mentioned it to you earlier, and I'm super passionate about this because people, a lot of the time, they miss the mark when it comes to the relevancy part, is that they post a lot of mumbo jumbo about their trip that they did to Banff, in Alberta, but it has nothing to do with real estate. But maybe you want to tie it back, because trust me, I post about my Blue Jays games and trips that I do and the baseball and why I love baseball so much, but I live right beside the Rogers Center. I worked for the Blue Jays for a really long time. And how do I spin that into real estate? Because it's a local attraction. It's one of the best places for people to visit during the summer. So you see how I tie that into my account to make it relevant. So, and it's inspiring because I tell people I'm a goal-oriented person. My husband and I wanted to travel to all 30 MLB stadiums. We've been to 18 out of 30 so far. That's inspiring. That shows people that I'm very committed to my goals, and people align with people who are committed and that are going to be true to their word. And so those are type of things that you want to think about, is that how do you want to be conveyed online? And when you're putting together content, here's another couple of key components you can write down in your notes, is the 4 C's of creating high quality content, high converting content. Is make sure your content is clear. I don't know about you, but I live in Toronto and it's a multicultural city. Same thing with Houston. If you're in a very multicultural city, and honestly, North America, there's people that speak multiple languages. There are people that might be buying and selling that might not speak English as their first language. And sometimes you'd be surprised in real estate. We use a lot of terminologies thinking that people just get it. And they, trust me, a lot of people don't understand. So you want to make sure that you keep your language plain. And the reason how I learned this is I work for the government, and everything we do, we have to bring it down a couple of grade levels low, because we reach newcomers where our content is for everybody. We translate our content into different languages. So my mind is built naturally for plain language. And I want to teach and share that with you, is make sure that you always have a mental checklist of, before you post the content, is the content I'm writing clear? Is it simple language? Is it plain language? And if you're an agent, kind of like Jacob, who's a bilingual, and you sometimes post content in Spanish, maybe you want to, or if you're in Canada and you're bilingual and you want to post English and then you want to do a direct translation in French or Spanish, you can do that as well. Again, keep it simple. And because there are complexity in all languages, and make sure your content is just compelling, right? Just interesting. You have no idea how many times people post all these pretty pictures, and trust me, even me doing a nice little pose, but what does the caption say? Is it providing value? What is the content driving? And make sure it's concise, straight to the point. However, it's good to write longer content, and sometimes you can do that for keywords, search engine optimization, but make sure that the point that you want to make right at the top, the first 2 lines before people scroll, is already exactly what you want to kind of grab them, is in those right before, because nobody's going to read paragraphs, let's be honest, right? People just keep scrolling, but you're doing that for search so that you appear in searches. But what you want to do is make sure, whatever you want them to take from that content is mentioned in that first line or two. And this is huge. You have no idea how many people I can right now spot who has fake followers and who doesn't on Instagram right now. On YouTube, I can follow who has fake subscribers, who purchase them, and who doesn't. And you can tell who's online, especially investors. I can tell who's lying and who isn't from just the way they speak, what content they're talking about, and how they're delivering their content. And trust me, if I can do that, I'm no expert. I'm not an FBI investigator or anything. Trust me, that means any of our buyers and sellers can feel the same thing. So what that means is that you want to make sure your content is credible. So you do the homework. We're so lucky. All the research, all the numbers, the data, the market report, our real estate board gives it to us every single month. Take that, put into something like ChatGPT, and if you're lucky, I don't know about you guys, but Toronto, they give us some really good content, market report. They even write an analysis on it. I take that, I rewrite it, and sometimes I don't even rewrite it. If it's simple language, it makes sense. If it's compelling, I would just take it, and when I do my email marketing too, I would even put a little line at the bottom directly from the Toronto Real Estate Board. And you can copy and paste, because trust me, I pay $2,000 every year for them. So I can use their content. That's what they're giving it to you guys. So do not be afraid to plagiarize their content, credit them, because crediting them is not just to protect you, but it's actually to help you, to show people how credible you are. So super important. And so, and accurate, right? So make sure always vetting your content before you post it, to make sure, because so many times people look at really cool post from another agent or from another brokerage and they think it's credible because another agent has posted, and then they would reshare it when it's not accurate content. So always vet them, especially when news comes out about pages and all these things. It's super important that you are thinking about, is this content truly accurate? So again, another mental note. And share your stories. At the end of the day, the people that are consuming your content, you caught the word people, right? Human beings. So you want to connect with us. We're all social beings. We're emotional beings. At the end of the day, the reason why somebody chooses you as a realtor is because of that connection. There's trust. And the way you build trust is through relevant, relatable content. And that's how people keep you top of mind. And that's how you get retention. That's how people come back to you. Have you had somebody you sold a house to, but years later or months later, they come directly back to you, or they sent their sister or cousin to you? It's because they had a pleasant experience with you, and they remember you, they liked you, and you were relatable to them. At the end of the day, guys, when you're showing that property, it's the same as you writing that social media content about the way that you travel and all this stuff, and the fact that you live in downtown Toronto, that your mom and this and that. Relate to them when you see them in person. It doesn't always have to be about just properties. Remember, people aren't just buying properties. They're buying a lifestyle. They're buying a community. They're buying into restaurants. They're buying into a lifestyle. So think about that when it comes to the content that you share on social media. The next phase is really important. And the reason why I'm putting this in here, I know it sounds a little obvious when it comes to social media lead generation, is to identify the right platform for you. There's hundreds of social media platforms out there. There's so many different tools that you can use to put yourself out there. And they're obviously the easy, popular one that we're all aware of, like the Facebook, the Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google My Business. You want to align with a couple of these to ensure that you can send out your messages. Guys, all of you should be on social media right now. It's free. And yes, you can pay ad to elevate your content, but I have agents that are using and that have learned all of this stuff, that are putting out their content every week for free, generating leads, closing hundreds of $1 million deals. So how you identify a platform, here's a strategy, especially if you're super new to social media, is you want to choose minimum 2 platforms, one long form, one short form. And what long form means is the length of the content is longer. So maybe like a YouTube video. And why I love, and I'm talking about long form, is again, people get to see you, you get to talk a lot more, share a lot more information, making you credible, building that trust with people. A lot of the leads, a lot of the investors that I've attracted are from YouTube. To this day, I teach other investors and I coach other investors. They come directly from our YouTube channel, and some of the people are coming from other countries. So, and my husband and I are working on a course for investors right now because of the amount of leads that we get from our YouTube that I pass on to other agents. So because we don't sell investment properties in Toronto, right? Because they're just not cash flowing. So think about it that way, right? When you attract people is when you give information, you become immediately credible. So identify a long form content if you can get on it, and a short form content. And I know, it really depends on how you translate this, but in today's age, a short form content is something like a reel or a YouTube short or a TikTok video. And I know on YouTube videos can be shorter to a short form content. What you want to do, and the reason is, and I'll tell you another way to automate this in a little bit, how to schedule some of these content so that you can actually hit multiple platforms. I'm actually on all of these, including Pinterest. And how I do them is simply with the click of a button. And I'll show you how we do that. And why you want to do this is because you're trying to choose a platform where your audiences are, or a platform that you can relate to as much as possible. So will LinkedIn work? Absolutely. Every platform works if you use it properly and if you're putting out content in the right way possible. If you're on LinkedIn, if I were you, I would be writing articles, I'll be sharing stories, I'll be messaging people, having conversation. I'm not just like, are you buying a property, but having conversations with people, building relationship, people you worked with, new people in the industry. And those are the type of things that I would do, or partner with other lawyers and divorce lawyers and mortgage agents, etc. So again, choose the platform and take all these strategies and apply it to that one or two platform. And then you can cross share the content across other platform to see if there's other people that can reach that content, because you've done the work already, but you're really perfecting this one platform and content. So a lot of the work that we do is we're driving traffic to YouTube. And that's why on my Instagram, sometimes I don't post a lot of, sexy reels and all these fun stuff, but it's because I'm trying to drive traffic to my YouTube through some of the posts and stuff that we do. So think consciously about, or they're just content that's just being spread across from multiple platforms. So thinking about, and I'll tell you another thing about identifying the right platform is, do not, just because you feel the pressure to be on multiple platforms because they exist, they're free. I'd rather have you choose one platform that you post consistently on than have multiple platforms that you don't post consistently. And the reason I say that is, have you ever have people on your Instagram or Facebook that you forgot that they're even there? I have about 1,000 people on my Facebook. Half the people, more than like 80% of the people, I don't even know they're actually there, because the algorithm doesn't show me their content because I don't interact with them. Maybe they don't post as often. So that's why there's some strategies. And I teach this to you guys about how to take your sphere of influence, people who are already your current followers and friends and family, and how do you get them into your database. And that's kind of some of the trainings that I do. And so I encourage you to come to a lot of our CRM process driven training, because that's really important. So how do you nurture them and make sure you are letting all these people know that you're a realtor? And how do you show up and use the algorithm to allow you to kind of help you appear in a lot of their searches and content so that they see you? Because all these people, because we're posting constantly and nobody's budging, is because they're not seeing you. That's the problem. We think they see you, but we're not. And the really good way to see this is if you go into analytics, right? And you look at your post, that's going to give you two different insights. One is that it's going to show you that, wow, a lot of people are looking at my content, right? If you have 1,000 followers and it'll show you, 200 people seeing your content, that's great. But the other info that is this insight is showing you that what happened to the 800 people that are following me? That means they're not seeing your content, right? So imagine if I don't know about you guys, but I have multiple Facebook groups that I manage. I would post a content, 12 people would see it, 25 people would see it. But those 12 people are great because they're constantly interacting with your content, but the rest aren't seeing it. So how do you get the others to see your content is super important. And then the other thing is about really thinking about, and this is why I touched on this a little earlier, is how do you, creating high quality content, putting together content strategy. And we talked a little bit about that, but how do you create content that is powerful, that keeps your audience in mind, and it actually meets them beyond that halfway for that conversion is to ensure that you're hitting a couple of these points. And these are some of the ways that we put together content for our agents as well, is thinking about, is content educational? Have a mix of these content. So on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, make sure your content is a mix of all of this. So maybe educational. So not, and again, when I say this, doesn't mean your whole account has to be educational. So one of the content, make sure it's educational, right? It's teaching them something. Maybe it's a tip, maybe it's a seller tip, maybe it's a home staging tip, moving tip, and maybe it's, baby proofing your property if you're a realtor mom, kind of an identity on your personal brand. Maybe it's promotional. Maybe this is time, like just the other day I was promoting my free masterclass, right? So maybe this is the time you promote that pre-approval 101 event you're talking about, right? And the other is you can actually post funny memes and make it a little bit more entertaining. This is where you want to be cautious, is that not everybody may receive your humor the way you do. So if, and trust me, I have agents who post a lot of humorous content, and trust me, it's funny, but sometimes it's not. And that's why I try to stay away from political stuff, because you never win, because politics naturally divides people, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not something that you want to entertain. And so think about that in mind, right? So that's why posting entertaining content is fun, but think about your audience in mind. And newsworthy is great when the interest rates go up, when a new bylaw, like when we had vacant home tax in Toronto, post about that. If they recently changed the foreign buyer laws here in Toronto, post about that. Interest rate hikes, post about that. And the other is inspirational. This is another way for, again, human beings, for beings to connect and be relevant, is to post inspirational content so that people can really get into your mindset. And sometimes people take this a little too far and post too much of it. Really find that happy medium, right? Again, that 1 or 2 posts a month that really touches on this type of content. And again, making that connection. And, if you watch, if you heard someone like, Brian Tracy, who is a well-known author who created The Power of the Conscious Mind, who wrote about these books on not making excuses. And he talks about this idea, the concept of you're selling hope, right? You're selling connection. You're not really selling properties, right? At the end of the day, right? So think about that, the hope that you would help somebody, the hope that they would find the right property. So thinking consciously about the fact that everything beyond this is just the physicality of a property isn't just what we're trying to sell. And thinking beyond just that one-to-one consumer relationship is that every one client that you close a deal with, they say that you can get minimum 7 referrals out of in their lifetime. So that means there's different ways you want to keep touch with them. And that's why CRMs are important. And interaction, and just making content that's interactive, this or that, or what do you guys think of this? What's your opinion on this? What are you guys doing this weekend? Here's where I'm going. I'm doing this, a day in the life of a realtor, and this is what I'm working on, so that people can see insight as to who you are. They can relate to you, that you're a real human being, and having that mixture of content. Again, this is a quote from Brian Tracy, again, a really well-known marketing expert and author. He says, everything counts. And that's why it's important to have a mental checklist. Everything you do either creates and builds your brand, or it weakens and destroys your brand. I've seen a lot of realtors sometimes post content about lead generation ideas and content for realtors, but they're not building a team. Why are you posting content for other realtors? You're a realtor trying to attract other buyers and sellers and tenants and investors. So, but I post content for realtors because I actually service other real estate agents. So it's relevant for me. You are actually my target audience, but other realtors may not be your target audience. So you don't need to post content for other realtors. Does that make sense? So think consciously about, and sometimes people would post about this beautiful trip they had and dive deep into that community they were in, but they forget to relate back to their local community or their brand as a realtor. But sometimes that content could be really nice and relatable, but maybe they belong in your personal account and not your business. And so again, think everything you post is for your audience, to relate to the people that are following you, if that makes sense. So everything you do either creates or builds your brand, or it can weaken or destroy your brand. So think about that, because the moment people stop liking and interacting with your brand, you're losing your followers. So here is some ways to, now that you've learned the strategy, now you've learned different ways to actually build and do some lead generation, building high quality content, some couple of ways for this is a really good time to take out your phone and take a picture. Great time to build and plan on a monthly basis, weekly basis, automate your social media. And I'll show you some ways that I'm using it so that you can see the behind the scenes and thinking about the type of content you want to post. So on a weekly basis, and again, thinking about the powerful content that I just taught you on, high quality content, that keeping things concise, keeping things compelling, credible, that 3 pillars of content, the 4 C's, is you could kind of plan this out. It really depends. So how I used to do them is, like, you could say Mondays is when I post a property. Remember, it doesn't have to be your own listing. It doesn't have to be your own sold property or coming soon. You can work with other realtors in your brokerage, other realtors anywhere, as long as you get permission if you need to, and share them. My best practice is that I always ask for permission and share them, because you're trying to help them buy them a potential buyer too, right? And promoting their property. So one day a week, post something about actual property that's coming soon, so they know the type of work that you do. And so if you're an investor, then post about deals, right? And the other is maybe you want to talk about market stats or news. Maybe the other day you talk about a tip, something educational. The other is about a lifestyle. This is where you can come in with your personal hobbies, family, and make it relatable. And the other could be clients and people that you work with, and stories and testimonial, because you want that social proof. The moment they hear from somebody else what amazing experience it was like to work with you. And there are people that are like, I've had an agent that posted a video with their client crying, and she felt so moved that her life completely changed because of this realtor. That's the stories you want to capture. And trust me, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Always ask, share these stories. And community highlights. Remember, at the end of the day, guys, I see so many real estate agents posting constantly properties after properties. Trust me, people can look at those properties on realtor.ca, realtor.com, Zillow. What you want to post about things that other people don't easily have access to, especially if you're in Canada right now, you should be posting a ton about your community that you live in, because there's a massive federal government plan to bring 400,000 people a year into Canada with their immigration plan. So what are all these people doing that haven't quite moved to Canada yet? They're Googling and YouTubing, and they're going on Instagram, and they're watching your content, they're learning about Toronto from you. So you want to be the person talking about the attraction, the tours, the holiday events, the 5 top markets to visit this summer, the 4 things to do this spring, 4 strawberry picking areas to do this in Ontario this year. All the good stuff. You want to be the one to share. And the best part is, because we get to share these content, we get to enjoy the experience in the process. And you'd be surprised, you might get a free coffee or donut or 2, and you can actually give back and promote the companies. And the beautiful part is they're going to reshare your content, and you're going to be able to build your brand that way. And then the mindset, again, so people can really understand your belief system, and you can connect to them. And then this is where you can automate your social media and schedule your posts. You can save drafts. This is where I'm going to actually share my screen and show you a really quick snippet of how quickly you could do this. There's so many social media tools out there. I'm actually doing a review of some of the tools, because I've used multiple. I've even used enterprise level of Hootsuite when I worked in corporate. So I want to be able to bring that and share some tools with you guys, because a lot of times if you haven't worked in marketing, you overcomplicate it and try to get the wrong system and pay a lot of money, guys. A lot of these tools are free. You can use them. And keep this in mind, 53% of marketers spent at least half of their budget on lead generation. So something to really think about, something to be cognizant of the amount of people that are spending. Before I give you guys this promo code, I want to actually show you kvCORE platform as well. So everything you just learned, actually, we applied it because we realized that a lot of our real estate agents were telling us, they were coming back to us and telling us that they were struggling with posting content, they were scrolling, and they learned all this, and they paid hundreds of dollars into all these social media trainings. And we have this immense, amazing social media training by one of the top coaches in the world. And they've taken them, and they're still confused because social media isn't their forte. They just don't do social media. Well, for Jacob and I, this is what we do. This is kind of easy for us and quick for us, because this is the nature in the industry that we work in. So what we've done is we come together and strategize and did the work for you. So this is social media content done for you. So if you're that person who learned all this and you're still having trouble actually putting something together and applying the concept that I've taught you, check out kvCORE. Super inexpensive. For $4.99, you can actually get a whole lifetime access to kvCORE every single month, completely new, different content. And the beautiful part about this is that, and this is applicable for all brokerages, your content will look unique, is giving you back your time, the social media done for you, and you really taking that guesswork out of your work. So I highly recommend you check this out. And if you guys want this, you guys can have a promo code right here. You can take a quick photo of that, leverage this. I have agents that paid VAs that are in the Philippines and India $4.99 a month to do their social media, who doesn't even completely understand the space that they're living in. These are done by professionals like us. It's actually handwritten by me and Jacob and hand designed by us and our company. So I highly recommend you check that out. Here's what it looks like on the inside. Maybe I'll quickly log in and show them to you really quickly before I show you my scheduling tool and how I leverage that. Look at this. This is how easy it is. You log in, go to current month, and this is how easy it is. If you're in March this month, let's say you start today, which happens to be the 24th, you just go to the 24th day. You don't have to actually follow along, and you can create content that is DIY, giving you the creative freedom and to do right your own strategy. But what's unique about this is, don't think of it as what it looks like. Remember, we're not selling you just templates and pre-written stuff. It's beyond that. It's strategy we're teaching you. So everything that I just taught you, that is where we're guiding you, so that we're giving you back that time so you don't have to do the work. So for example, you can click on this and you look at the strategy. It'll give you a pop-up recommended caption. It'll tell you today our focus is to, and that's, again, that powerful content that we talked about, right? Is it educational? Is it about connection? Is it about community news? Is it about newsworthy? Is it inspirational? That's where you get the instructions here. We give you a template, recommended caption copy, what to put in here. And then if you're still like, okay, I don't get it, I'm still confused, here we give you a sample post. You can actually take the same post, put it in the ChatGPT, rewrite it if you like. And then we give you multiple templates so that your content always looks different than every other Realtors, which is super awesome. And I'll give you a DIY post as well, so that you can actually see. So for example, we just posted a picture of, an ice cream or the churros that are at this location. So for example, we wrote one that's in Houston, the Loop, and you can replace it with whatever location that you're in. So for example, another template that I'll give you just to show you what this looks like. And then you can actually skip through, pick different versions. And if you click it, there are actually more versions in this. And also guys, if you're a newer agent, or if you don't have any other templates, like if you have a property that's coming soon and you don't have a template, literally look, coming soon, and you want to do an exclusive and promote a property, there's tons in here. And there's versions in those as well. And they're just templates that you can change the color, the font, add your logo, customize it. And there's more templates in here. And these all you just get with the content. There's nothing free. And then when if you're part of our group, because we're part of a virtual brokerage, we also give you'll see this team dashboard, and that's for our group. And this is where you can actually see all the courses and everything you get access to for free. So if you join our group, you get access to Groovy, this platform, for free. You get access to all of our private Facebook trainings, everything for free. So if you are looking into that, if you are looking for a switch in brokerages, anything like that, definitely connect with Jacob and I. No obligation whatsoever. I'm happy to sit with you and share with you what it's like and how we can help you with your business. So that I just wanted to mention. Here's quickly Buffer. I'm not affiliated with Buffer. Buffer just happened to be the tool that I use. I actually used Hootsuite, Sprout Social media prior to coming to real estate, and I actually started using Buffer because of Jacob, because he was using Buffer, and it is super simple. Look at this. I plugged in all my social media platform. Look, this is just a post I did. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. I just did this a couple of seconds ago. You've probably seen it. It took me a second. I wrote this out, and then took me a second, and I clicked all the rest of them, got posted into all of them. Is that amazing? And look at this, all pre-planned. You can put content in there, draft. You see drafts. So if you have an idea that comes up, or you take an idea from Groovy. So my strategy is, Jacob and I recommend, if you guys want a strategy, my strategy is just jump onto Groovy, take the month worth of content, and there's free account as well. There's a free login you can get, and take the month worth of content and take one day out of the month and automate your social media and put all of this in. So you put all of your other time into prospecting and doing YouTube content, a lot of other things, guys, building out email marketing and going and checking out properties, building out content for the next month. So the social media is somewhat on autopilot. So that would be my suggestion, is come in here, you know, because all my social media is done, at least minimum. I would recommend for you guys to post 3 times a week. I honestly, I would post multiple times a week. Like, look at this. Some months I actually try to lessen my content. Like, I would post every single day of the week. I recommend that you guys take 1 day of the week and just schedule for the rest of the month. That would be my strategy. And maybe take you 2 or 3 hours minimum that our agents were telling us. But right now I'm just going to go into question and answer any questions that you guys have. Sorry I went a little over, but I hope that was helpful for all of you. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in the chat box, unmute, ask away, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
I think that's it. There's no questions in the chat. I pretty much answered all of them already. People asked for links to Buffer. A couple questions were, how do you grow your followers on YouTube? So we put a link to our video from 2 weeks ago with Marty, who got over 1,000 followers. So go watch that video. But I think that's it, unless anybody else has any other ones.
Yep. No problem. Does anyone struggle with social media right now? Like, what is your big pitfall? If you guys are paying for social media for someone else to do this, you better be getting deals closing every single month, because they better be in your local area. They better know real estate. And if you don't, then you're struggling with this. So for time, it would be smarter to have a VA do this for you through your program. Even, yeah, you can have an assistant do this for you through your program, because it tells you exactly what to post. So that's the problem, is that a lot of the people that you would hire, like a VA, if they don't know the strategy, then you're missing the point. The whole point of anything you ever do is strategy. I'm a marketing consultant for the city. They hire me for my strategy. They're not hiring me because and then I hire assistants to execute my strategy. Does that make sense? So the strategy is what's important, and that strategy is has to be converting. So what's the difference between Buffer and Facebook Meta? Same thing. Buffer just posts across platform. Facebook just posts to Facebook and Instagram. And Buffer and also Buffer, you can do like drafts, you could do overarching automation on a larger level. And so that's all. Yeah. And for me, like, look at this. I'm posting on Google My Business. I'm going to post, oh my goodness, guys, they're finally getting YouTube. That's why I loved using social media, because I have YouTube. They're getting YouTube. So YouTube Shorts, YouTube community post, amazing. Just SEO on another level. So when you can just post on all of these. So that's why I recommend, when you create content for Instagram, why are you not posting that content on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, across the board? Because now you're going to be the one showing up in your search. And trust me, guys, I have trouble ranking because I'm in Toronto with 85,000 agents who are doing the same thing. But you and even when I was brand new in 6 months, I'm closing deals because I know what I'm doing, because I come from a marketing background. But for someone like you, if you're in a smaller town, you guys, there's no reason in the next 3 to 6 months you won't be the top producing realtor applying the same strategy, because you would rank in no time. And especially, honestly, guys, if you want to content marketing, I recommend head to Jacob's channel. Actually, I didn't finish showing you guys this. So here, look at this. Take a picture. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Ton of free trainings in here. Again, going back to that CRM trainings on systems process, this is where I would check that out. I have tons of trainings on this. And make sure you check out Jacob's also YouTube channel. We tend to do a lot of workshop style, lots of lead generation content in there, lots of different variety around website SEO, stuff like that. If you're looking to learn, I would recommend watching these stuff for free before you go and pay anything else. That's why I always recommend for people, is that I always tell our agents, it's like, you don't have to pay for anything when you come to our group. Everything you need is here for you.
And everything that we have is on, I put the link in there. If you go to FridayConnect.net, everything we have is there. All of the trainings that we do, our YouTube channels, our video feeds. Even if you go to the marketing resources section, you can see all the courses, the free master classes, all the products, services, everything you need for your real estate business is now in one convenient place. So use this, share it, attend our trainings every week, because we love to help you. If there's anything that you guys want to see in a training, please share that with us. Don't hesitate. Share us what you're struggling with, because we really want to provide training of value to actually help people instead of us just talking every week. So feel free to share that through our website. You can do it through the contact form, email us. Somebody asked if we were taking new agents. We're always taking agents. So I put, if you go there, there's a partner button there, schedule a call with us. We'd love to just see where you're at and see what we offer and what we could do for you here at EXP in our group.
Absolutely, guys. We don't, when you partner with us, there's no extra split, zero split. We don't take anything. I don't take a single cent out of your pocket. You're joining our brokerage EXP. You're part of our brokerage as a solo agent. You're not sharing our brand, nothing. You're your own unique person. You just have access to us on a daily basis. That's all. And if you're like some of our agents who are high producing, they take advantage of us. And if you want to remain a silent agent, then you just don't, right? So you get what you put into this business. And I highly recommend that you take advantage of what you have available. And like Jacob said, he actually made a really good point. If you are struggling with something, and if Jacob and I don't know something, like we could bring someone in. We actually brought in a top producing agent, a luxury agent, a mega agent. I'm talking like 16 mil a year agent in GCI. Come to our call from our group, do a training for you, answer any questions about how to do referral business, how to become a referral agent. So I'm bringing on an agent actually in 3 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, from Wisconsin. She's in our group. She was a VP of a brokerage, multiple brokerages on Colbert Banker, and she's coming in to do a training on referrals and how to build our relationship to get to the referral stage. So we can always bring in people and guests to help you with that too. I hope that was helpful. So yeah, Jacob, go ahead and answer if you want to.
Yeah, so we have some questions about the PRIVATE platform. So basically, right now we're running a special. It's $4.99 if you're not a part of our group. For lifetime access promo code, you can get $100 off. So it'd be $399. You just pay one time and you get all those updates for life, as long as you want to use them on our platform. Or we have a reoccurring $49 a month plan that's just monthly every month. So there's no end to that. It's just as long as you want to subscribe, or you can take a part of the lifetime access. The only reason we're doing this lifetime access is this is a promotion that we're running probably till the end of, or till the beginning of summer, and then it's over. So it's not a thing that's going to be going on every month. It's just something we're doing new as the beginning of the year to help people get started and get that full-time access. After about when summer comes, you won't see that deal anymore, and it'll just be a monthly or yearly price. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if you would, that's why we don't ever limit this to anybody. We love everyone at our brokerage. We work with everybody. If you're at EXP already, please come to our EXP. You're already in EXP University, come to some of our training. Jacob did a training in EXP University 2 weeks ago, and we're always constantly doing tons of different level up, real estate 101 for EXP University. So we're always pouring into our own agents at our brokerage. So come learn with us. Everything's free. I recommend constantly and ask questions, guys. We're like, DM us, send us a DM. We're happy to help you. So good to see some familiar faces in here. And we'll see you guys next week. I think this is great. Anybody else have any last minute question before we close the call?
Looks like that's it.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Jacob, for hosting. See you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Have a good weekend. Bye.